Hello, this is Mr. Inadequate, and a comment on one of my videos that I released on my birthday on January 6th uh, suggested that I tell stories and share memories since I am 7 years old, and maybe something that I have experienced might be interesting. Now, the game that this is in is Spark in the Dark, and I figured here in the safe room, sitting on a bed by a fire, would be the best background for trying to do this. It is really hard for me to figure out exactly what kind of memories, what kind of stories, etc. So I will try to tell one in this video, but if you guys are interested in this, please comment. Leave a comment what kind of memories you would like. I was born in January 6th, obviously, of 1952, and it is 2022. That's a lot of decades for me to try to pick. I have memories kind of in the 50s. I lived in a small town in upstate New York, and it was Norman Rockwell country. I was alive as a preteen and then a teenager in the 60s, and there was the Vietnam War and the draft, and it was like, going through that, and college in the 60s, well, in the 70s, actually, for me. I graduated high school in 1970, and I encountered marijuana and other drugs, and I was an addict, and up until 1993 when I got clean. Also mentally ill. I have some mental illnesses, and I worked on both of them. And it's July of this year, it'll be 29 years that I've been clean. So I can share on those things. I have had supernatural experiences in my life. Not UFOs, but, ghosties and things that go, ghoulies and ghosties and things that go bump in the night. So I can share on that if you wanted to hear it. I don't know what you guys want to hear from me. I remember probably a quarter century or so ago, I used to hear a lot about how the 60s were the best decade to live in. Yeah, race riots, having to fear of being drafted and sent to Vietnam, assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King, and here, I don't know that I would consider that my favorite decade, to be truthful with you. I had fun then as a kid, but, was rock and roll born? Yes, and I like rock and roll. There are other things. I don't really remember a whole bunch about the 80s. That was towards the end of my addiction, and it just wasn't. It was a haze, purple haze, if you will, if you get the reference. And, middle class, Irish heritage, growing up in central New York, or upstate, or whatever you call it. Not New York City, nowhere near New York City. Small town I grew up in was a farm town mostly. I was a townie, but I wasn't a farmer, but it was basically a farm village, not even really a town. We had a blinking light, two blinking lights. We didn't even have a real stop-and-go stoplight. Did a lot of fishing. We used to go up to the Adirondack Mountains in the summertime, and I caught perch and smallmouth bass and stuff like that up there. Trout fishing in the stream that ran through my village, and then other fishing, the old Erie Canal, not the barge canal, but the old Erie Canal ran through the village I grew up in, and caught a lot of fish there. I remember when I caught my first trout, and how excited I was. I ran home 2 miles from the fishing hole just to show my parents the trout I caught, and instead of staying there and catching more. And, I could go into some of the bucket lists. For example, a couple of years ago, fishing in a trout stream here. I'm still in central New York. Another trout stream, not the one I grew up on. I caught a tiger muskie on ultralight tackle with no steel leader on a very small spinner, 4-pound test line, 30-inch fish, in a trout stream. And that really was a bucket list, to catch some form of muskie. And to do it under those circumstances, that was a bucket list. It was a lot of fun. I haven't really fished since. There's a lot of reasons, one of which my fishing buddy moved to Florida because he couldn't take the weather anymore. And, I've lived in a number of places. I was in the military for 4 years. Joined, wasn't drafted, was in the Navy, and spent some time in Virginia and then some time in Hawaii, which was a very odd place. I also lived in California and Massachusetts, and went back to Virginia after the Navy. Lived down around Petersburg, Virginia. Trying to think where else I've lived. Well, lived for a couple months in Great Lakes, Illinois in the winter, which was no great fun. Even, the boot camp wasn't as bad as the winter there. Where on a calm day there was like a 40-mile-per-hour breeze. Just trying to stretch my brain, think of things. Like I said, if you want me to not spin a tale, but reminisce about a certain decade or certain experiences, leave a comment and a like, and I will try to do another one of these. Basically, it's been a long, eventful life. Things are quiet now, and I prefer it. I finally got married when I was in my 50s, found the right woman, and, well, not my 50s, it would have been around 60, and, because we had been married about 10 years, and I'm 70, so, and, I'm a cat person. I have a lot of cats. Well, we have a lot of cats. We have 10, all strays that we took in. Usually as kittens, rescuing stray kittens. And not that I don't like dogs. I've had dogs. I don't like to keep dogs in the city, though, and I do live in a city in central New York. And cats we keep inside. We don't let them out. They're safer inside. And we have a fairly big, half a house. We live upstairs. My daughter-in-law lives downstairs. And I say my daughter-in-law because she is the daughter of my wife through a previous marriage. And that husband of my wife passed a couple of years before I met her. And, I go to 12-step meetings. I read a lot. Play games like this one, science fiction games, city building games. I like farming sim a lot, but my Logitech heavy equipment bundle, the cable between the steering wheel and the pedals pulled apart, and apparently Logitech doesn't sell or would tell me where I could buy a replacement cable. So that's kind of done for a while until I can replace it. This game I find very, very good. I like the spooky stuff. And, without having a specific topic to share, I've done a lot of hiking in my life. There's a specific place I like around here. And I've had some experiences there. And I don't know. I have pictures on my Facebook page, and I'm sorry I'm not going to tell you what my Facebook name is. Because I try to keep my YouTube channel separate from my Facebook page. And I don't know. It's easy when I'm with friends to reminisce. But right here I'm just talking into a microphone, and it isn't so hard. It isn't so easy to reminisce. I don't know who you people are. I don't know what we have in common, memories and stuff like that. So it is kind of hard. want to give a shout out to Wolfheart FPS YouTube channel because he was very kind to me on my birthday, and a day or two before when he found out I was hitting 70. Good guy, runs a good YouTube channel, so a shout out to him. And I don't know how long I'm going to keep rambling like this. You know, I'm sitting in upstate New York. There's snow on the ground. Our power went out briefly about an hour ago. Hour and 7 minutes ago. My clock still hasn't reset. And, you know, I like posting videos. I don't have a lot of subs. Well, I have 342 at the moment. And that is cool. There's 342 of you who support me in some small way. And there's people who actually watch my videos and like and comment occasionally, and that is all good. That's why I'm responding and trying to tell you what the areas, ask me to reminisce on a decade. Ask me to reminisce on rock and roll music or fishing in upstate New York or the other places I fished, Hawaii and California and like that. Virginia, I did fishing down in Virginia. I've visited a number of states. I'm trying to think. All of New England except Rhode Island and Vermont. Never made it to those two states. I've been in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, traveled through South Carolina, been in Alabama, been in Florida, traveled through Georgia, been in Illinois, been in Utah briefly. That was an odd story. If you want to hear about it, ask me. And California, Washington State, Hawaii, of course. Been in all those states. California, I lived in San Diego for a while. And I've been through Los Angeles on the highway. What a nightmare. And out in the desert, Rosemont, California, which is, I believe, near Barstow. I'm not real sure on that. California is such a big state. Washington State, I was in Tacoma. Been all over Massachusetts. Seen a lot of Virginia. Was at Harper's Ferry in West Virginia. And, what was the name? Ripley, West Virginia. I've been there a couple times. Or once, at any rate. And, Ohio. I've been in Ohio. I went to a 12-step function in Ohio. And Ripley, that was a 12-step function also. I've done a lot of 12-step work, was chair in my local area, was regional vice chair, worked on a lot of committees like our convention and things like the policy. And, there's a lot of things I can talk about, but without having direction, it's hard for me to know what you guys want to hear about. And so I will probably, wait for you guys to tell me what you want to hear about. And I will share on that, I got memories hitting me now, but I don't know how focused they are. Like when I was working as a security guard at a small campus here in upstate New York. And we were having a problem with skunks tearing up the lawn looking for slugs and stuff. And there was a big old boar skunk, and I chased him around the corner, and he ran around the next corner, and I chased him around that. And then all of a sudden, it was a dead end. And he chased me all the way back around, because I wasn't getting sprayed. And a lot of fishing stories, if I can remember them all. Been hiking in different places. I've hit different portions of the Appalachian Trail. Down in Virginia, up here in New York, a little bit in Massachusetts. And I don't know if it was the Appalachian Trail here in New York, but a lot of trails. I've been hiking in a wilderness area Oh, trying to think of the name of that wilderness area or the mountain that we hiked. We hiked up. If you follow the directions on the map my friend had, we would have hiked around a lake, up the less steep side of a mountain, and down, down the other steeper side of the mountain. And it was a big circle, about 5 miles total. But no, being contrary, he led us up. And I took pictures of it. I called it the never-ending staircase, or the staircase to heaven. It was like, how far up can you walk until it's no longer up? And I took some really nice pictures when I had my camera there. There was a whole little section of ferns with one pine tree growing in the middle of it. There was some foxgloves. I got some good pictures of that. And some pictures of the lake. I'll have to look it up later to figure out what lake I'm talking about. It was not too far from Old Forge, but in a wilderness area, not a lake you could drive to on a road. There was, at one time in the 40s, there was a girls' camp there, if that rings any bells, if anybody's familiar with the area I'm talking about. Other than that, I am probably going to call it an end to this video, because like I said, I need direction. I mean, I'm old. Do I have memories? Yes. Can I focus on them without trying? I mean, if you give me a topic, I'll think about it, and then I'll come up with a good reminiscence. And I thank my subscriber who suggested that I tell stories. I can do that if that's what you guys want to see. I mean, I prefer to play games, but I think that this could be a good format for my channel, if that's what you guys want to hear. And let me know what you think and what you want, and I will talk to you next time. Mr. Inadequate, signing out.